Welcome to the Market Frontlines. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk. In a gold market where quality discoveries are getting harder to find and competition for ground is intense, some of the most compelling opportunities still exist far from the obvious places. The kind of opportunities that demand experience, they demand patience and a willingness to operate where others hesitate. AJN Resources is one of those companies with a focused gold exploration strategy in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The company is positioning itself in a region known for exceptional geology and serious scale, while applying a disciplined and deliberate approach to growth. Now, joining me is Klaus Eckhof, CEO of AJN Resources, a veteran explorer with a track record of identifying high-potential assets and navigating complex jurisdictions to unlock long-term value. Klaus, it's great to have you here with us.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to talk to you.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with the big picture here. When investors hear DRC, reactions are strong on both ends of that spectrum. From your perspective, what are they still getting wrong about operating in the DRC, and why does AJN see this jurisdiction not as a risk, but as a competitive advantage?
It's the opposite, actually, because there's a very little geological risk there, and political risk you can always manage. If you look at other countries, you've got 3,000 competitors for one block of country, and they never find anything. So there's a lot of money spent. In the DRC, there's very little competition, and usually you have world-class assets. You just need patience to actually get the project at the end of the day. Sometimes it takes 2 years, sometimes it takes 3 or 4 years, and this time it took 4 years. But at the end of the day, if you have something there, it will survive any market. Whatever the gold price is, everybody will look at it.
Absolutely, because when you look beyond the headlines, the fundamentals, they tell a very different story, like you just explained. Now, gold exploration is crowded globally, but not all ground is created equal. Walk us through what specifically attracted AJN to its gold projects in the DRC and what you see in the geology that signals real discoverable potential rather than just incremental results.
Well, in the DRC, for example, the projects which we look at, we can guarantee results, we can guarantee resources. Not necessarily that they will be world-class at the end of the day, but historically, most of the assets which we acquired, they became world-class assets at the end of the day and made companies like Randgold or Barrick big companies.
Well, that potential only matters if you can actually advance it then. Production is where value is truly unlocked. So what advantages does the DRC offer when it comes to moving from exploration towards production, especially compared to when mature jurisdictions, where there's more mature jurisdictions actually, and when costs and competition are rising?
Well, that's a difference in the DRC. You have a very small timeline to get into production. You don't have the red tape, which you have in Australia and Canada, which takes 10, 20 years to bring something into production. And then you have the grade. If you have a grade in Australia with 1 gram per ton, you'll be looking at 3,000 Australian dollars all asset cost. If you look, in the Congo, like Barrick or whatever, they produce at 800 or 900 US. And it's a fraction of grade and size. And that's basically what you can deliver in the country.
Well, that path forward also depends very heavily, Klaus, on timing and execution then. And you've touched on it a little bit, but AJN has been active on the acquisition front. When you evaluate new assets, what are the non-negotiables for you? And further to that, how do recent acquisitions strengthen AJN's overall growth story rather than dilute focus?
I exactly know what I want. For example, some of the assets I'm working on since 5 years, 10 years or whatever to get a hand on those ones. There were always political issues usually. And as you know, in the Congo, nobody has drilled anything over the last 70 years, 80 years. You got company or projects like the King Leopold mine, Easy, that has been there since 100 years. They produced at 15 grams per ton. And nobody ever drilled a hole there.
My goodness, that is a long time, and there's so much potential there. All of this, though, Klaus, it all feeds into the question investors want to know heading into 2026. And so let's really put that out there. Looking ahead, what does success look for look like for AJN Resources over the next 12 to 18 months, and what milestones should the market be actually paying very close attention to as you work to unlock that upside?
Yeah, on the last acquisition, there will be further acquisitions which we earmarked over the last 4 or 5 years. We just took a different approach now to actually strike these deals. But we're pretty confident, if we get 2 or 3 or 4 of those projects signed up in a different sort of fashion, which we announced 4 or 5 years ago, then we should be easily at around 8 to 10 million ounces within 12 months. That shouldn't be a problem.
Amazing news, and I can't wait to hear more. Thank you for this powerful conversation. Do come back soon. I can't wait to just see everything that's coming out of the pipeline for you.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We've been speaking with Klaus Eckhof, CEO of AJN Resources, trading on the CSE under AJN and on the Frankfurt under 5AT. Now, this is a company operating where gold potential is measured in scale, where strategic acquisitions matter, and where experience on the ground can be the difference between promise and performance. Now, for investors watching the next phase of gold exploration unfold, AJN Resources is clearly a name to keep on the radar. I'm Lyndsay Malchuk with Apatow Media, and this is the Market Frontlines. We'll see you soon.